Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Empowered Pause. I am your host, Rachel Chinoa J. Thank you for joining me on this alternate night of the Empowered Pause. Usually we would be here on Wednesday. However, because of the holiday, I am coming to you today. So, welcome. I hope everyone's doing well this evening. As usual, I will give you a little bit of information about Speak Initiative before we jump into today's topic of gratitude. So, Speak Initiative, as many of you may know, is a nonprofit organization committed to combating the rise of suicide in our communities. Speak stands for Suicide Prevention Through Empowerment, Action, and Kindness. And we are actually in fundraising mode right now. As you can see by the little logo at top, we have a QR code that we will make available immediately after this recording. So if you feel so inclined to give or forward the flyer to other people who may be interested in giving or getting some of the services that Speak actually offers, you will be able to do so. So the Empowered Pause is just one of the programs that we have under Speak Initiative's empowerment philosophy. And we are here each week just sharing a little bit of information, maybe some empowering words, ideas, space for the speakers to actually be heard, and just to check in to, let everyone know or let yourself know there is space and that sometimes it's okay not to be okay, right? So today I wanted to speak a little bit about gratitude. Now, of course, yesterday in this country, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people had a tendency to celebrate Thanksgiving. I actually call it Family, Food, and Friends Day, or Family, Friends, and Food, because that's what I basically look forward to during this time of year. We know that gratitude is the act of expressing gratefulness or thankfulness for something, right? And of course, this time of the year, a lot of people are led to go deeper into how they're feeling. And at times we struggle because it's not that we're not grateful, it's hard to find the joy in certain moments when you're struggling with other challenges. May they be mental health challenges or just grief or, you know, financial challenges, things that we don't think that can affect us actually do. People get depressed because of their finances. People get depressed because of, they're not able to get the resources that they need. Food is extremely expensive right now. I know most of us realize that this week and probably for the last few months. So what happens to the people who were not able to celebrate with others, like some of us kind of forget about, right? Not everyone has a family. Not everyone has a space that they can go to have community during this time of year. So I want to speak to those people. I do know that when you express gratitude, it tends to open you up to feel the goodness and the greatness of the things that are around you. But what happens when that gratitude just isn't enough for you, right? I used to be in a space where I would tell myself, well, it could be worse, right? I was grateful for all of the things that I had, the work, the resources, family, love experiences. I was what other people perceived to be on top of the world. However, in my illness, I still was not able to find that space to feel like everyone else felt or what everyone was expecting me to feel. And that caused a kind of rift inside of me that I was basically beating up myself. Why aren't you grateful for these things? Why aren't you happy all the time? Why aren't you, not depressed, right? When you have depression, sometimes it can trick you into believing that you don't have enough. And sometimes we really feel like we don't have enough, but that depression turns on you and it tells you that you are being ungrateful, right? Even though you have the things that you need and you want to be happy, but you don't have the stability to do so. I want to speak to the fact that don't beat yourself up in those moments. I've experienced those moments where I said, well, it could be worse. Maybe I should be happy. It could be worse. Maybe, other people don't have family. Other people don't have friends. Other people don't have resources, but other people may not have the same challenges, the same experiences, the same traumas, the same illnesses that you may have, right? So we can't compare ourselves to other people. That's my point in this whole share. Don't compare your experiences to anyone else's because they are uniquely yours. Gratitude comes when it can come as you practice it, as you speak it, as you um, encourage yourself and become someone who is in a stronger place. But saying to yourself, it could be worse when you are not feeling well, it negates how you really feel. I know we are in a time where we want to be grateful and we want to express all of that during this holiday season, and everyone is full of cheer and full of excitement, but be kind to yourself. If you are not feeling the way you think you're quote unquote supposed to feel, that's okay, right? Not all of us have the same experiences with this time of year. So, yes, we talk about gratitude and being thankful and being appreciative of all that we have. But when that turns into something that is going to beat you up and make you feel worse, check in with yourself. Say to yourself, I know it could be worse, but guess what? I still feel how I feel. If you feel sad, if you're missing someone, if you're just exhausted because life is exhausting sometimes, right? Speak to yourself. Start that conversation with yourself. Figure out because you can't actually figure out what's going on, what you need to be better in your life unless you start speaking to yourself. So begin to have those conversations. Not to say go in and get mad and get angry because things are not the way you need them to be, but go in and figure out what needs to change for you to get to a better place, a better healing, a better place of feeling, right? So you can actually express true gratitude for the things that are changing and the things that are working in your life. So again, I wanted to talk a little bit about gratitude, but something that came up recently was, I used to say, well, it could be worse. I should be grateful. It could be worse. I have a home. It could be worse. I have a great job. But it negated how I was really feeling. And I had to have those hard conversations about what was really going on that was causing me to feel like I was missing something inside of me. So I couldn't get to the gratefulness because the other stuff was muddled, and it was grief. It was trauma. It was sadness. It was, nostalgia, all of those things that can come up that we don't expect a lot of the time, right? We just want to go on and live. And I always say this, have stress or low stress lives. But the reality of the situation is that's not necessarily how it is. And the reality of the situation is because it's a holiday season, that does not mean everyone is going to be feeling festive, right? I do my best to stay present in these moments to attempt to enjoy the love of the family and the love of my friends. But I do admit that sometimes this time of year is hard. It's very heavy because we put these expectations on ourselves that are not really realistic anyway. We're trying to keep up with the system and keep up with traditions sometimes that are helpful for some people, but there are some others who find it challenging. So I just wanted to speak to that topic today. Gratitude, yes, but also acknowledge where you really are, right? Don't say to yourself, well, I should feel, because there's no shoulds, there's no expectations. Who created those expectations anyway? Those are things we ask ourselves when we actually begin the healing. So again, thank you for joining me for this short conversation on gratitude for today. I appreciate everyone who has watched this, and if you may share it, tell people about Speak Initiative. I will put that flyer up immediately after the recording so you can see the QR code and our web address so you can actually give or get more information about Speak Initiative, right? We are looking for partnerships, we are looking for clients, and we are ready to do the work that we know is necessary for us to actually begin healing so we do not wind up in a place of dealing with suicide, right? Speak Initiative is here and created to open the doors to allow you to speak before we get to the hopeless place of having to do something that no one wants and no one actually should ever have to do. So we will be here next week, next Wednesday on our regular scheduled day. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for joining. And until next time, take care.